What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So, K-pop, a big reason for why a lot of us are here. Recently, I would say since the start of this year, I've seen a lot of articles, I've seen a lot of comments that seem to be in alignment with where they feel the state of K-pop is right now. And I thought it might be fun for a group of K-pop fans to sit down and talk about the state of K-pop. Before we dive in though, I would like to let you guys know I literally just uploaded another story time on Patreon. It's about a girl who took a solo trip to Korea and she saw a really cute guy in the club and they went to a love motel. And what happened there? Gotta go on Patreon to find out. But here's a little sneak peek. I apologize in advance because I know I'm not helping us beat the foreigners are hoes allegations. And I'm sorry, but if you saw this dancer, your clothes would have flown off too. Well, damn. He was sexy and he knew he was sexy. He took off his shirt and took shots as they dripped down his body. I don't condone smoking, but he looked so good doing that too. I'm not exaggerating when I say every girl was looking at him. Foreigner and Korean alike. I was late to notice him though because I waited forever in that line to get inside this club. It was called B1. I don't know if y'all remember that, but we covered B1 in the Clubbing in Korea vlog. B1 is not for the weak. Oh my god, I didn't like it. Now I don't recommend drinking drinks from strangers, but that's exactly what I did. Now that I was liquored up, my reflex to avoid the obvious fuckboy was gone. I saw him heading for the door with another guy. No, I can't let him get away. So doing my best to not be creepy, I went outside to go follow him. So yeah, on my Patreon, not only do we have story times that I can't put on YouTube because the theme is pretty NSFW, it's gonna get demonetized, age restricted, that sort of thing. But also I have couple vlogs, me and my boyfriend, we go around, we hang out, we film it, and we put it on Patreon. And also a lot of the videos I put on YouTube that I have to censor, I put the uncensored version on Patreon. So for example, the last video we did where I had to censor the word grape a lot, but also sometimes the nature of the video is just inappropriate, so you have to censor and omit a lot. And it's frustrating, but you gotta play by YouTube's rules, unfortunately. Check out the link in the description if you want to see my Patreon. Thanks in advance if you choose to join. So if you enjoy content like this, please hit the like button, leave a comment that says for the watch to help drive up the engagement, help get more of us in this community talking about the topic of this video. And please subscribe if you haven't already. It's free, it makes my day, and it's like the biggest motivational driver to keep me going and to keep content like this coming. So K-pop. K-pop for me started way back in 2010, 15 damn years ago. I was on YouTube, I was 17 years old, I was on YouTube and I was listening to Airplanes by B.O.B. and Haley from Paramore. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? And for some reason, do not ask me why, the very next like suggested video, it just said "Without You" by 2 p.m. All in English, mind you. And on the thumbnail, I see like 6 boys in the rain. So I was like, oh, click, Avi. You know, I hear the dee. I've said this story a few times, you know, but it's like my K-pop origin story. Not everyone knows. So, and then I hear the lyrics start and I was like, what did he say? I realized that was not English. And I was like, what am I listening to? It didn't matter anymore. Baby, without you. It didn't matter what language the music was that I was listening to. I liked the style. I liked the mood. I liked the concept. I liked the visuals. They were gorgeous. Their vocals were on point. So that started my K-pop journey. I'm curious, what is your K-pop journey? Like, what is the first song you heard? Who's the first artist? When was this? I love to hear like the origin story, like when we were brought into the fandoms, how we were brought into the fandoms, who brought us into the fandoms. For me, it was 2 p.m. back in 2010 with their song "Without You." Then I went down the K-pop rabbit hole. I started listening to more K-pop. I got into SNSD, I got into BoA, I got into Big Bang, I got into SHINee, I got into Super Junior. And honestly, to me, K-pop then was like so different from what I was used to. And as a 17-year-old girl, I was a kid, I was a minor, I was a girl. It was nice to hear like something so bubblegum and happy and the bright colors and the visuals. Like it was so different from what I was used to in Western music. So I was hooked instantly. And I got a lot of shit for it back in 2010. People were like, that's weird, you listen to K-pop, like you don't even, do you speak Korean? Like that's not music for you, that's weird. Same thing with anime. I was in the anime club when I was in high school and I was definitely like the only black, no, there was like one other black girl there. But anyway, here we are 15 years later in 2025 and I don't really feel confident saying that K-pop is as unique as it once was. Today, K-pop feels like copy and paste. It worked before, so let's do it again. Profit over everything. Debut after debut. And not only are the songs getting shorter, but I feel like they're designed just to go viral in like a dance challenge, to be everywhere all at once and then suddenly nowhere. Like, let's face it, our attention spans have plummeted. We scroll through brain rot, videos 15 seconds or less at a time. If it's too long, if it takes too long to get to the plot, we lose interest. And now we're listening to songs that are barely 2 minutes. I remember when songs used to be 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes. Now it's barely 2. It's just getting shorter and repetitive. It's just designed to be catchy, to be heard everywhere, and then nowhere. Now, yesterday there's a song that came out in particular that kind of fueled me to want to talk about this. Disclaimer, I absolutely love these girls. I am so proud of them. I'm so proud of what they're doing, and this criticism is in no way a reflection of them themselves. I don't even blame them, because I know a lot of artists under Korean labels and Korean managements don't have a lot of artistic expression and freedom in what they put out there, and we're gonna dive into all of that in this video. I am talking about Cat's Eyes Gnarly, and I know they're not a K-pop group, but them being under Korean management, studio tune, comeback stages, K-pop treatment, all that, I think it highlights what I'm talking about in this video. Visually, the video looks really cool. The choreo, their outfits is all great, but the song is only 2 minutes and 22 seconds long. I'm sorry, but whoever wrote that song, like, respectfully, what were you thinking? To say Tesla's gnarly in a time when so many young people, aka your fan base, hate what Elon Musk is doing and saying. I don't know if you were paid to add that in. Actually, okay, full disclaimer, apparently the song was written in 2023, but I think that kind of also highlights an important point that's worth talking about. You gotta read the room, you know? Like, for example, 2023, Teslas were fine. Elon was fine. Like, he said weird things and people weren't the biggest fan of him acquiring Twitter, but people still like Teslas. People weren't converting their Teslas to Toyotas. People weren't burning Tesla dealerships. People didn't hate him as much as they do now. And I feel like before you release a song, even if it was written before then, you gotta read the room, read your fan base, and actually put in the effort to put out something that you know they will want to hear. So to say Tesla's gnarly, fried chicken, gnarly, you could have changed Tesla to pretty much anything else, and it would have been much better. At a time when a lot of people are financially struggling, to say jealous of my mansion, yeah, the view is gnarly. What? I'm sorry, but how out of touch can you be right now? This is not a song. They're saying random things are gnarly, and then they say how hot they are on repeat, and they say the word gnarly like 50 times via auto-tune. This isn't music, or maybe I'm just getting old. These girls are way too talented and way too gorgeous to be saying those lyrics. Like, we want to hear their voices. You shouldn't be auto-tuning it like that. And then on top of that, the AI in the video, you know, some AI, fine, but it shouldn't. AI is just like a cheap sort of shortcut, if you ask me. It's gonna be the death of us all. Also, I hate to be that girl, but these girls are still very young. They're barely clothed, and honestly, maybe it wouldn't be a problem if HYBE didn't already have a questionable past with minors at the company. I know people found some Eyelid and Hyphen New Jeans lyrics uncomfortable in the past. Like, I don't know if y'all remember Eyelid's English version of Tic Tac. It goes as follows: gotta cut you out, gotta touch you now, gotta make up my mind, oh my god, oh you wanna make me scream, you're so good at that, wanna pull you so close and then push you right back. Again, these are minors saying those lyrics. And again, like, I am not someone who thinks that, like, oh, women need to cover up, because it's unfair that we're already always so sexualized. Like, we should be able to just exist without being sexualized. But I do feel like when you present yourself a certain way, or you present your artist a certain way and force this image, you're doing it to sexualize them. You know what I mean? I feel like in nature, revealing your skin shouldn't be sexualization. But when you're doing that for the purpose of sexualization, I think that's when it's a problem for me. If that makes any sense. I'm rambling here. And when I've seen the articles that have come out about this song and the comments, because, you know, people have been all over YouTube in the comment section and all over their Instagram feed, and they seem to still really love these girls and really admire them and respect them and support them. But I think it's pretty universally agreed that this song just ain't really it. The lyrics, the beat, people like the beat, people like the visuals and the concept. They just are not a fan of the lyrics, and I have to agree. But I have seen people saying, if you don't like it, it's because you don't get it. Only real ones get it. Only the elitists get the song. You're not as good as me because I get it. I get what they were doing. Listen, art is subjective. You can find meaning in anything. And my worry is that this temporary loss of momentum, because, you know, people really like Debut, they like My Way, they really like Touch. but people don't seem to really be vibing with Gnarly so much. And I feel like I'm worried for them because it seems like when groups lose their momentum, they kind of get put in the dungeon, especially girl groups at this label. It's unfortunate because I feel like these songs and these artists don't have longevity anymore or authenticity anymore. These labels produce music and artists en masse to drain every coin they can from us. The song takes half the effort, half the time, and they try to make more money from it. More tours, more concerts, different versions of the same album with different photo cards, overpriced merch. Stream the song 24/7 or you're not a real fan. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can be a fan of someone and not like every single thing they do or every single thing they say or everything they make. Not liking something doesn't make you a hater or a fake fan or an anti. But K-pop today just feels toxic. If you don't stream enough or have the right merch or get the tickets first or have the glow sticks, you're not a real fan somehow. In this economy, every dollar is precious, but the overconsumption is really real right now. I'm not funny, but these new groups that come out look and sound the same. It is not an insult. It is by design. If it works once, copy and repeat. It'll work again. That's life. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's so clear that these companies prioritize profit because they don't even let us grow and age and evolve with these groups and artists anymore. They let the groups promote and perform as long as they have momentum. But as soon as that slows down, for example, when boy groups have to enlist in the military or when girl groups get closer to that 7-year curse, the company has already moved on to the next group's promotional activities. It's unfortunate because it really feels like girl groups are their most successful within like the first 4 years. And boy groups, they're their most successful before they have to enlist in the military. It's like a miracle if a guy group can stay together after military activity conclude because members leave. And that's another thing. You gotta wonder, why do these members leave their labels as soon as their 7-year contract is up? So many of them just flee. Girl groups, is really rare for them to make it past 7 years. And guy groups, is really rare for them to make it past military service. And while we've got attached to these groups that we've listened to for years, the company is just ready to let them fade out into oblivion and move on to the next one. Can you even really think of any Korean artists and Korean groups who are like all in their 30s, in their 40s or 50s and successfully still making music? Like, there's a problem when your audience, you only make music for young people. You only make music for teens, 20s, young adults. You know what I mean? I seriously struggle to find a group or an artist that is actively and successfully promoting and making music in their 40s, 50s. Like, that's just not a thing. Once you age out, there's just like no K-pop music for you anymore. That's crazy to think about, actually. Meanwhile, in the West, you know, you have older artists who still are very like, oh my God, New Edition. My mom loves New Edition. She goes to see them every time they're in town. And the fact that they can be in their 50s and still be so successful is one of the things I do admire about Western music, where I feel like K-pop needs to get on that train and evolve with the fans. Like, don't write off the fans because they get too old. It's like the same way they discard old idols, they discard old fans. Or should I say older fans, like we still out here. They're finding new ways for us to spend money and milk us dry while they can in that short window of these idols' careers. I mean, look at all these concerts right now. Not only do we have group concerts, but we also have solo members in these groups also doing solo concerts. My friend Marika, for example, right? We were really sad about the Text concert, TXT. I like them. I like them a lot. And I was here. I wasn't in London. They were there in March. I was like, oh man, I didn't get to go. But she's like, next time they're here, we're going. And she already told me how hard it was for her to get her ENHYPEN tickets because she's like, oh my God, like I had pre-sale, but it didn't work. And we just keep getting scammed and taken advantage of with these ticket sites and these people who buy them and then resell them for the most insane profit. That should not be allowed. That should be illegal. Expose him! But on top of that, right after, Jin is coming. So she's like, oh my God, now I gotta find the money and the time to go see Jin. It's a lot. Being a K-pop fan is not for the weak. And I know I'm part of the problem because I would happily pay to see who I want to see. Even though I don't even like concerts. That's the crazy thing about it. I don't like crowded areas, especially post-COVID. I don't like being in a crowded indoor area with a lot of people screaming. There was like this GOT7 event back in 2017 that kind of ruined the concert experience for me. I was like, oh, this is not fun. Like, this girl was screaming so loud I couldn't even hear them anymore. But yeah, I digress. When you take a step back and look at the whole K-pop bubble, I'm like, this is actually low-key toxic and manipulative. They scoped out these perfect looking artists, these perfect acting people. They're so talented and we fall for them and they're so charming. And while some of us do fall harder than others, it's all by design, and these companies profit off of parasocial dynamics. These idols aren't allowed to date, not openly anyway. They have to maintain and sell this illusion and possibility of a relationship. They talk to us like we're their lovers and their friends, but we're just customers. They don't do any of this stuff for free. It is their job. Of course, I don't doubt that they have affection for their fans and love and appreciate their fans. Of course they do. But we're not in relationships with them. We're not entitled to their personal lives. They don't owe us anything. They're doing their job. And please remember, we do not actually know these people. Like, I can't say or emphasize that enough. These images are carefully put together for our consumption to get us to spend our coins on them. They're handsome and pretty and stylish and funny and sweet and innocent and wholesome and talented. Did I mention attractive? These perfect bodies, their perfect skin, their perfect clothes. Fans lose touch with reality, and that is by design. That's what these labels and companies want. That type of loyalty and devotion is very profitable. Fans fighting tooth and nail to defend their groups and artists. My group is better than your group. My unnie's better than your unnie. My oppa's sexier than your oppa. It's hard to be a K-pop fan with an opinion, especially an opinion that is different from the masses. If you don't like a song, God help you, because here comes the hate train. You're literally expected to love every single thing these artists do and say. Defend them to no end, guilty or innocent. And that's not healthy. That is literally idol worship. We're all people here and no one is perfect. We all get acne. We all poop. We all do and say dumb stuff sometimes. I think it is really important for people to remember that before you demand an apology from an artist for having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, before you demand an apology for some rumor getting started that someone is Islamophobic, someone is homophobic, you know, like, it doesn't take much for people to demand apologies when you don't even know what actually happened or what was actually said. Like, it's trending, people are talking about it, so these artists feel compelled to apologize even if they didn't do or say anything or feel the way that you said they felt. Like, we do not know these people. We were not there. None of us are actually in their personal lives. Sorry, I need to get back on topic a little bit better. Oversaturation and overconsumption is a real plague, especially in the world of K-pop. There was a Patreon girl who mentioned going to an ONU concert, and she said he'll always be her bias. And it shows that there was once a time in the world of K-pop when these companies took time to develop their artists and let them grow, evolve, and age. And that is a beautiful thing. Their style evolves with their audience. We all grow up together. Today, the longevity of these groups are so short now. No matter how old they get, they still put out these cutesy high school romance-esque concepts and styles. And when they do get a little sexy or act their age, they get a lot of hate for it. I see no better example of that today than Lisa. Lisa is 28 years old, by the way, but people keep comparing her look now, her style now, back to 2016 when she debuted at 19 years old. She's a grown woman. Now, if you want to make the conversation about why does going west mean you automatically go sexy, okay, I could see that being a conversation. But at the same time, let adults do what adults do. I do find it weird that whenever K-pop idols have English lyrics or an English debut, a Western target, I should say, the lyrics and the concept is automatically sexy. But when it's in Korea, it's still cutesy, it's still high school, it's still innocent and eggyo. That I find very interesting. These new generations, and I literally mean no hate or shade whatsoever when I say this, but to me, groups like Baby Monster, Meow, Hearts to Hearts, they look and sound the same to me. There is a severe lack of individuality that they once had in the world of K-pop. What makes each of these groups different and unique? I feel like as the generations go by, generations of K-pop I mean, I fear we're heading for the same sound, the same look, and even shorter songs. And I feel like oftentimes these days with like the brand deals, so many of these artists become models instead of musicians. Look at how many of them are not peddling, that's rude. Look at how many of them are selling Celine and Louis Vuitton and Dior, Fendi, these luxury brands. And I hate feeling like more of a bank account than I feel like a fan. And there does seem to be a lot of K-pop fans who feel this way as well. And it's not just K-pop. I know it's capitalism in general, but K-pop is one of the most insane money vacuums I have ever seen. The membership fees, the glow sticks, the merch, expensive tickets, buying multiple copies of the same album hoping for different photo cards, so many concerts, the plushies, the stickers, the posters, the hoodies, the overpriced t-shirts and headbands, and the expensive VIPs of the sound check. And I feel like these companies have found the formula. They found the most insanely successful way to drain us of all the money they possibly can. That's why there's always comeback after comeback. In the West, an artist will release an album once a year, once every other year, something like that. Maybe once every 2 to 3 years. But in Korea, there are like 3 to 4 mini albums every single year. There's so many comebacks. There's so much music to consume, so much music to stream, so many albums to buy, so many concerts to attend.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
This year, and it's only May 1st, by the way, I literally found it so overwhelming, the amount of music to try to listen to and support via stream, the amount of concerts I'm interested in, and my friends. We're all like, oh my God, I haven't heard this new song yet. I haven't had the chance to hear this new song yet. Too much of a good thing isn't good anymore. And one thing that I feel is particularly tragic about K-pop is because can these artists actually be artists? So much of their sound, so much of their image, so much of their style and their concept is not in their own control. When I think about like artists versus their authenticity, one group that always comes to mind is GOT7, because when they left JYP, their sound, their style changed so much. Like their individual music is so different from what they were putting out under GOT7, under JYP. A lot of their music started to sound more authentic and more vulnerable and more personable. And that's what should happen. Artists evolve, they grow up and they change. But when you're under these K-pop companies, it's like, nah, we're gonna stay the same, you know? That it works. It's making us the most money. But what happens is as fans grow up, even though these companies refuse to allow the music to grow up with the fans, then we're just like, what the fuck is happening? Western fans are drawn to authenticity and personal works. Successful Western artists are usually very much largely responsible for their own sound. They produce, arrange, and write their own music. Think of artists like Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, Bruno Mars, Olivia Rodrigo. These are some of the absolute biggest and most dominant artists, and they make their own music. I mean, I hate to say it because she was once the queen of pop, but look at artists like Katy Perry. When there's this lack of authenticity and this lack of realness to what you're putting out there, you lose touch with your audience and people don't want to support you. Same with J-Lo. Personally, when I think about groups like BTS, for example, I really think that is why they became so dominant and so popular in the Western market, because there's something so humble and authentic and genuine about BTS. Not only did they come from, at the time, a very small label, it was them, Glam had disbanded, and like a duo named Home. Like there was nobody else at their label. They didn't have this factory. You're gonna say this, you're gonna wear that, we wrote this for you, this is what you're gonna do, this is how you're gonna act. BTS was very authentic. They were the underdogs. They came out of nowhere, especially when you look at like the credits of their music. They do write and produce and arrange a lot of their own music themselves. Granted, I know they do have people like P-Dog, and I know they do have people who write and help them write their music, but a lot of it was their own making, and that's one of the reasons people find them so genuine and authentic and popular. Same with Stray Kids. When the music is more personal, it connects more. Look at Blackpink, for example, and the success of the solo members. Let's look at some Spotify streams. Jisoo has 7.2 million monthly listeners. Lisa has 18.7 million monthly listeners. Rosé has 47.6 million monthly listeners, and Jennie has 49.7 million monthly listeners. Looking at those numbers, by the way, this is not like to compare them or anything like that, like, oh, this member is better than this member. I love Blackpink. They were like the first girl group that I got attached to after Sistar disbanded. But when you look at the artists in the group with the higher streams, the higher amount of listeners, it happens to be Rosé and Jennie. And we do know that Rosé and Jennie wrote and co-wrote a lot of their own music on their solo albums, and they also wrote and co-wrote a lot of the music that they put out in Blackpink. You see a lot of Western critics who have been praising Rosé and Jennie's albums like a lot. I just really feel like K-pop has a problem with authenticity. Of course, there's a reason why they copy the same formula. It's because it works. But eventually people will get tired of hearing the same thing over and over, and they'll move on. Shorter songs that sound the same, sung by artists who look the same. It's sad that these labels and companies prioritize what's making money, what's selling, and not putting unique works into it. But seriously, think about the reason we all got into K-pop in the first place. It was different, it was cool, it was fun, it was exciting. But now it does seem like it's getting a little stale. Even the K-pop generations are getting shorter. First generation of K-pop goes from the 90s to about 2004. Second generation, 2005 to 2011. Third generation, 2012 to 2017. Fourth generation, 2018 to 2022. Fifth generation, 2023 to now. And I'm already seeing how people say that the sixth generation will start in 2026, next year. Why is this speeding up so much? Eventually, these artists will suffocate because not only do they not have artistic freedom within their own career, but they also don't have personal lives and personal freedoms. They're not even allowed to date. And it is sad because I feel like these artists are too easily disposed of by their labels. I can't emphasize this enough. I say all of this as a K-pop fan. I love K-pop music, but I do find it hard to listen to newer music that's coming out because it sounds the same to me. It has the same drop, the same beat. I'm like, wait, did they sample this? Like, it starts to sound the same. It's like, am I going crazy here? Or is this the same song, the same style, the same concept, the same look as this song I heard yesterday? And again, it could be because I'm getting older. Like we all do, right? If we're lucky. Personally, I don't have too much interest in listening to new K-pop, newer artists and newer groups. And I feel like that's very unfortunate because eventually I'm just flat out gonna age out of K-pop because a part of the formula is when the group is no longer relevant, then we just stop promoting them. Stray Kids, TXT, BTS, GOT7, these groups that I really like, as they start to get older, as they do their military and try to come back. I do feel like BTS is the anomaly in this equation because they've just achieved such global success that they literally probably can't do any wrong. I said this before, I do feel like some of their newer music isn't quite my vibe, and that is no hate to them. I still love them so much. People still tell me that, oh, I'm just not a real K-pop fan and I just don't get it and I just hate them, which obviously is not true. That's the formula, the devotion, the delulu. Anyway, I just feel like as I get older and as these idols and groups that I've attached to get older, we'll hear less and less from them. And then eventually I probably won't be able to be a K-pop fan anymore. I can't think of any group in Korea, any K-pop that comes from older people, older artists. You have people like JYP who's still out here, you know, trying to make his music. JYP. And I hate to say it, like, if you're even getting more long term, if you think about the fact that so few people are having children these days, and when we do have kids, it's like one, they will literally run out of fans if they keep this formula up because their music is only catered to teens and 20-somethings. Soon you're gonna run out of that fan base because that population is shrinking. K-pop need to get with it. They need to let artists be artists. Stop discarding artists when you feel like they're too old or no longer relevant because we don't stop aging. Like I said, I already know that capitalism is like a problem. Again, it's one of those things where I feel like K-pop really emphasizes how bad it is. You know, when analyzing songs like Gnarly and like the feedback from that, I did see so many articles talking about 4th gen and 5th gen K-pop groups and how they're not too distinguishable and how they don't feel like it's for them anymore as we get older. I mean, everyone they debut, they're kids. I don't know if I've ever seen, especially not within the last like 10, 15 years, seen someone debut in their 30s or debut in their late 20s or 40s. You only debut as a teen or in your early 20s. And that's a problem when you have fans of all sorts of ages. That's more money you could be tapping into, but you just keep focusing on draining the teenagers and draining the college students. You know, I'm rambling. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.